So, yesterday we set up what was coming by talking about the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount, kind of the setting for it, who's in the crowd, what the overarching theme is going to be. And here we get the opening words. Opening words are really important. There's some famous opening words that you know from songs or from movies, from TV shows. And opening words, they set the stage for everything that's to come. So Jesus' great teaching that we call the Sermon on the Mount, how does it start? So I'm just going to read the beginning of this, but think about it through the lens of what we talked about yesterday, about who it is that's sitting at Jesus' feet. He opened his mouth and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they'll be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And blessed are you when people persecute you and revile you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who were before you." Here's the traditional interpretation of these passages that we call the Beatitudes. The traditional interpretation is that these are what some people will call the 2B attitudes. These are a way in which we are to present ourselves to the world. Meek, peacemakers, poor in spirit, all of these things. That's the way that it's traditionally taught. I don't know that that's the best way to read this, though. I was introduced to a different way to read this by a guy named Dallas Willard, who's just a spiritual giant. He passed away just a handful of years ago. Here's the way that he interprets this, and I think that he's right. Think about the crowd. Think about the people that are sitting at Jesus' feet, the people that we talked about yesterday. Think about those people, and then think about this. This formulation that Jesus is using here, the blessed are formulation, these Beatitudes, this wasn't a style of rhetoric that Jesus came up with. We see it all throughout the Old Testament. You'll see it in other places in the New Testament. It simply says, blessed are a certain kind of people. And sometimes it explains why they're blessed, and sometimes it doesn't. This was a form of rhetoric that was used frequently. That word that we translated as blessed, it's the Greek word makarios. And maybe it's blessed. It could also be translated happy or fortunate, lucky, something like that. It's a word that initially was just used in Greek literature to describe the gods, because the gods were blessed, fortunate, because they didn't have to worry about the concerns of humans. Eventually, that word is used in Greek literature to describe a certain kind of people. Who's it used to describe? Well, it's used to describe the wealthy. Why? For the same reason. They are above the concerns of kind of common folk. Everybody sitting with Jesus that day would have heard a beatitude before. Blessed are the healthy and the wealthy. Things like that. Everybody would have heard that. What's profound about what's happening here is that Jesus is speaking to a group of people who would have never heard a beatitude, a blessed are statement about themselves. So picture all of these individuals that are sitting there. Then picture Jesus sitting down and beginning his teaching ministry by saying, blessed are the poor in spirit, like the beat down and the broken. Blessed are those people who the world has just trampled on. Why? Why would those people be blessed? Because theirs is the kingdom of heaven. They can come in to the reality of God's presence right here with us. Blessed are those who mourn. Why are those who mourn, those who are grieving, why are they blessed? Not because they mourn, but because they'll be comforted. Blessed are the meek. Again, those people that society just kind of runs over because they will inherit the earth. They are heirs of what God is doing. You see, we read this, and the way that we typically think about it is that the people are blessed because of what comes before the comma. They're blessed because they're poor in spirit. They're blessed because they're meek. They're blessed because they're mourn. They're blessed because of all of these other things. No. I don't think that it's that. I think it's that they're blessed because of what comes after the comma. Despite the fact that you are beat down and you are broken and you are poor, despite the fact that you are mourned, despite the fact that you are meek, despite the fact that you are a peacemaker who often both sides don't like, despite what happens before the comma, you are still blessed because of what happens after the comma. You're blessed because even when you're persecuted, there is a great reward for you in the future. You're blessed even though you're a peacemaker who often both sides don't like, because God is with you. You're blessed not because of what happens before the comma, but you're blessed not because of who you are. You're blessed because of who God is. You see this? This is a group of people who would have heard Beatitudes their whole lives, but they always would have been about the healthy and the wealthy, the ones that are blessed by all earthly standards. And Jesus sits down and he begins his teaching by saying, essentially, all of you people who have never heard that you are blessed also because of what God is doing in the world through me. Another way to look at it, why are they blessed? They're blessed because they are sitting with Jesus on the side of this mountain. And Jesus is about to unfold for them through the next 3 chapters of Matthew, about to unfold for them what it looks like to live a full life with God and with others, to cut through even that spiritual language. He's about to unfold for them what it looks like to live the good life, to be fully human, what it looks like to live the best life. This isn't an exhaustive list of everyone who is blessed. There are other people who are blessed also. In fact, anybody can be blessed who sits at the feet of Jesus to learn this. Anybody can be blessed. This isn't an exhaustive list. This is just a list of those people that nobody thought would be on the blessed list. When you think about those people in your life that you think are just like beyond God's blessing, that's who's on this list. Those people that you just think are kind of be beyond the reach of God's grace, that's who's on this list. Because at the time, what people believed is that your wealth and your health was an indicator of how much God was blessing you. Jesus cuts through all of that. No. In me, what is happening in the kingdom is opened up for everyone. So I'll leave you with 2 things to reflect on. 1, have you bought into the lie that you are beyond God's blessing? If you bought into the lie because who you are or what you've done, that you're beyond that. The first words of the Sermon on the Mount, they challenge that and they say, no. You sit at the feet of Jesus and you're in also. And the second thing is, who are those people that you know that have never heard a blessing about themselves? Based on kind of worldly standards, maybe they don't bring a lot to the table because of the mistakes that they've made, or maybe because of just kind of the way that they are, that the world looks down on them. Could you be the one that needs to share this good news with them? Could you be the one that needs to share the good news that no. Under the banner of what God is doing through Jesus, you too are blessed. You listen to these words and you seek to build your life on this firm foundation. and you too will find that you're blessed. So, do you know this, the beginning of Jesus' teaching? And do you know somebody that needs to hear this good news? This is kind of the beginning, or not kind of, this is the beginning of the teaching. And then tomorrow we hear something else that is just mind-blowing. And I can't wait to share that with you then. God bless you, friends, and I'll see you in a couple of days when we talk about the next part of the Sermon on the Mount.